It's so egotistical. I don't care. I'm gonna take this suit to Gita. And yeah. And I'm gonna go, yeah, and then put the women's devotional on me, I guess. Yeah, we'll take it with me. Or I don't know, I could just take an ibis out of here, but no, I want to take this back to where I normally stage it. And I'll go back out to the level 4s. When's the next ice? 1905. That's yeah, 6 hours from now. Nice. Or whatever, yeah, 5 hours. So go out. My neck is blue, my collar's red.
Warp drive active. What you're actually doing.
My neck is blue, my collar's red. Stayed up till 6 morning and doing that heroin and meth.
But he's also known for
God
being
damn it.
a little bit ridiculous.
My whole life is about knowing everything about 13-year-olds, but you're in
My life is knowing everything about 13-year-olds.
the jungle with them. I have to watch from above. Thank you, man. You're welcome, bro.
Regardless, his message.
What the hell?
What you're actually doing.
But he's also known for being a little bit ridiculous.
My whole life is about knowing everything about 13-year-olds, but you're in the jungle with them. I have to watch from above.
What?
Thank you, man. You're welcome, bro.
Regardless,
Thank you, man.
his message is inspiring, and when he isn't saying crazy or extreme things, he may actually be making some good points. Him and others like him have inspired countless hustlers.
There was this sense that with massive effort came massive rewards. And the cool thing about that is effort is democratized. Anybody can put in effort. It wasn't about talent, it was about hard work. If you worked the hardest, you'd win.
Another person who blew up from this craze was Ty Lopez, who went viral for running this YouTube ad that so many people saw all the time that it became a huge meme.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini here. It's fun to drive up here in the Hollywood Hills. But you know what I like a lot more than materialistic things? Knowledge. In fact, I'm a lot more proud of these 7 new bookshelves that I had to get installed to hold 2,000 new books that I bought. It's like the billionaire Warren Buffett says.
Why are you bragging about this?
The more you learn, the more you earn.
Guys like Ty Lopez and Gary Vee were the prototype for much more annoying hustle gurus that would eventually come along. But here's why they were so successful. A lot of what they would say was true, just mixed in with a lot of random garbage. Ty Lopez isn't wrong in saying that knowledge is an important tool in success. Obviously, you have to know what you're doing, but he doesn't tell you what to read or give you the knowledge himself. He leaves you wondering how you can take your next step. That way, he can sell it to you. The most common trap you'll run into with these sorts of hustle culture gurus is that they will sell you a product, traditionally and most memeably a course. Ironically, if you go to Ty Lopez's Wikipedia page, his career section begins with, in 2014, he created an online business course named 67 Steps to Success, which he described as learning the 67 steps to become a millionaire, how to live the good life, and the grand theory of everything. The course, ironically, was $67 a month. So basically, he started his career selling courses on how to be successful. He had apparently ran some dating sites early on and made some good money, which from what I've seen seem pretty illegitimate. Regardless, all of these gurus try to sell you something. I mean, Gary Vee recently launched his own NFT collection, which, well, we've seen how those usually go. And even the Rich Dad Poor Dad guy is a certified fraud. But hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of people have bought his book.
Oh man, so my best friend, he really pushed this book at me. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll read it. And I did. I listened to I read the book and I listened to the audio tape, and I didn't learn anything from him. Though I did understand that there was good parents and bad parents. That's kind of the whole message. Like, rich dad makes sure that he has finances to take care of his kids. Poor dad doesn't. That was the takeaway. And it was right there in the title. Yeah. Rich dad good, poor dad bad.
Alex Hormozy is one of the most recent people to promote hustle culture, and I'll admit he's not the worst. I like some of his content, just some of it, but he does get pretty ridiculous.
The first step is that we have to cut all costs so that we can take more risk. When I say all costs, I mean all costs. That means you don't eat out anymore for anything. And if you're hungry, you deal with it. And if it's not from a discount grocery store, you don't buy it. Clothing?
Approaching Stargate.
What you have right now on your back is everything you need for the next 2 years. Period. No exceptions, Just keep reusing it, trade, or go to Goodwill.
Like this right here isn't that crazy. Saving money, especially when you don't have much, is a good practice. But then he'll say things like this.
I want to break the myth in this video that you need to go make $1 million and that you need money to make money. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 different ways that you can make $1 million for little or zero money down. The next one is that you can get people to give you their businesses for no money down. A good friend of mine actually did this, and he combined 4 different information businesses into one business, and they were all small businesses. They were all doing about $1 million-ish a year. I get small is relative, but and so he combined them all to be a $4 million top line, $1.5 million bottom line business for no money out of pocket. He literally said, hey, I know you don't want to do this business anymore. Just give it to me and I'll pay you the income that you were going to make for this business for the next 2 years. And they said, sure. And so he combined all those businesses together, and then overnight, he owned an asset that was doing $1.5 million a year in profit and $4 million in top line. And it cost him nothing to do it.
This video is titled 10 different ways to
10
break
different
down.
ways to get busted for to get busted for essentially like security exchange fraud. I buy companies, I combine them, and now I suddenly have 4 companies combined into one. I'm rich. It's like,
making $1 million. I remember watching this video a while ago and being really annoyed because his advice isn't inherently bad. Like, the ideas themselves aren't horrible, but they're all super vague and realistically unachievable for your average person. The hustle gurus all sell you a dream that it's actually not all that hard to make a ton of money. All you need is the knowledge, which is available if you click his link in the description and buy his course or his book or whatever else it is. Even watching Alex Hormozi's videos, I mean, he has to make so much money from his content. I can't imagine. He brings in crazy views, and that's how these guys really make their money. It's not because they're some insane entrepreneurs. Overall though, I think everyone I've covered so far is alright. They're not the worst people ever. The basic core advice that they give is solid, and the mindset they suggest is alright. But it's just vague enough and just flashy enough to get you, the viewer, to buy into it. Once you get a little deeper down the hustle culture pipeline, past the more motivational stuff, you get to the even more extreme people. Of course, there's Andrew Tate, who sold his Hustlers University, which was like $50 a month where you could learn that you were brainwashed, but I don't think we need to go too deep into him and his scandals. That's all too obvious. However, Sebastian Gorgeau, or however you're supposed to say his name, is probably one of the best modern examples I have of hustle gurus. He blew up on TikTok for saying things like this.
A kid that goes to a church in Arkansas, he's 17, he started dropshipping 2 months ago. I don't know how many products he's tested, but it failed initially. He spent $1,000, he lost all his money, he saved up some money and tried again. So far this week, he's made $5,000 with 30% margin. So he's made his money back and then some. And he uses the free course. It's free. And the truth is he's just a random kid from Arkansas, right?
You're a random kid from
Yeah, we're all random kids.
If you're a guy in your 20s and you don't have a Lamborghini, you should actually sit down and have like a serious discussion
You're
with
so
yourself
dumb.
as to why you don't have a Lambo.
Yep.
Because I realize now that it's so incredibly easy and there's so much money out there, and 200 grand relative to what is out there in circulation and what you can grab, especially now with AI tools that you can leverage like never before. 200 grand.
like
is
what?
chump change.
AI
People say
tools
I'm
for
up.
what, idiot? Like, you know, use Suno to make songs like me and try to make a music career? Yeah, maybe. Like, maybe you can have the AI build some sort of business plan for you, I guess. But like what? Like what? The AI can't make you money. You know, I was thinking like maybe the AI can teach me how to go do drop shipping or like, you know, maybe day trading or whatever, and that's a good way to use AI tools, but I don't think that's what you're talking about. You're so vague.
Touch with reality, and they can suck it because it's just not true.
And I really don't like this guy. I used to get so many of his TikToks on my feed, and he's the most blatant example of I rented this Lambo with my dad's money until enough people fell for it and bought my course, and I could eventually buy my own. And the reason I know that people do this is because I'm familiar with YouTube gurus who have told me they've rented penthouses and cars so that they could exaggerate their wealth and then sell courses on how you could do it yourself too if you start a YouTube channel. The worst thing about Sebastian in particular is he's one of the newer hustle gurus, and there are tons of people, like I just mentioned, similar to him online selling these ideas. There are lots of different methods that people like this will promise to teach you. Day trading. You just buy stocks low and sell them high. Boom, you're rich. Drop shipping. You just make a website, find a cheap supplier in China, and mark up the prices without ever having to risk buying inventory. Faceless YouTube channels. Use AI to make a bunch of shitty YouTube channels at once that will bring in tons of money. And trust me, there are plenty of methods that these people will promote.
It's a weird feeling because we're 22, 23, and we're making what people make every single year, every single day. It feels like I'm cheating in life right now and just living in like God mode.
How do people watching do that?
In order to learn how to run, you have to learn how to crawl. I think if you are starting from square one, one and don't know how to make any money, do something to get you from 0 to $100 a day. I think TikTok organic dropshipping is a great opportunity.
Where can they learn?
We actually have a free course on exactly how to dropship. It's completely free, so I think everyone watching should join.
The problem is, they make all of this sound really easy at face value, like they are get-rich-quick schemes or something, when in reality, it isn't that simple, and there are tons of people actively trying to do these things already. The markets are very saturated because of these gurus, which makes it even more difficult. There's also a big link between these types of people and the ones who say you need to wake up at 5 a.m., like the red pill type of people. These are the guys that watched Wolf of Wall Street and American Psycho and decided to make it their entire personality. And of course, I don't think all of this in general is inherently bad in and of itself, but I think the influencers and the gurus exaggerate and make everything way more extreme than it needs to be. But like I've said, it's more than just these big influencers that you see on TikTok or YouTube. It's an entire mindset that has permeated various facets of society. Millennials adopted hustle culture with almost religious zeal, propelled by influencers, LinkedIn thinkfluencers, and the rise of the #girlboss ethos that told us that burnout was just part of the journey. And of course, corporations lapped it up, eager to squeeze every last drop of labor out of a workforce convinced that unpaid overtime was just an investment in their future. According to Aaron Griffith from the New York Times, in New York, where the throw pillows implore busy tenants to do what you love, neon signs demand they hustle harder, and murals spread the gospel of thank God it's Monday. Don't stop when you're tired, someone recently carved into the floating vegetable's flesh. Welcome to hustle culture. It is obsessed with striving, relentlessly positive, devoid of humor, and once you notice it, impossible to escape. And I'll be honest, everything I've covered in this video, aside from maybe the more memey stuff or the more extreme stuff, always used to inspire me. Growing up and hearing about entrepreneurs like Steve Jobs and gurus talking about making millions always pushed me to want to do that myself. I even bought a dropshipping course when I was 16. As you'll notice from my sneaker video and this one, I was a little bit of a sucker growing up. But I also was infatuated with learning how to escape the matrix, as many people will say. I never wanted to live life on other people's terms, whether it be a boss or sitting in a cubicle all day, and I really hated going to school. And I know I'm not the only one because millions of Americans and people across the world clearly feel this way. They want to, like any other human does, live their lives, enjoy their time with family and friends, travel the world, and things like that. No one wants to work until you're 65 and then think about taking a vacation every now and then. The deep despair that people feel about the work culture we've created is what makes hustle culture so appealing. It's an opportunity to live life on your own terms, and that is what has always fascinated me about entrepreneurship, and that's why I bought that dropshipping course when I was 15. And it's probably why so many others fall for these gurus and their scams. But are these gurus really scammers? Or are all the hustle culture influencers and promoters out there really trying to just help us? There are various problems that come with hustle culture, but let me be clear in first saying that I don't think it's all bad. I think that the idea of working hard and making smarter choices with your career or your finances and being successful are all good values, and I think it promotes a healthy lifestyle and goals. But what I don't like about hustle culture is when people take the idea of working hard and succeeding and then flip it into a you need to work 24/7, you're lazy and pathetic if you don't, money is all that matters, cut off family and friends if they don't understand, and by the way, it's actually really easy to get rich, just buy my $100 course. Like we've seen throughout this video, the hustle culture gurus will bait you in with their amazing promises and vague knowledge bombs, just so you buy their course, books, or other products. Even with just watching their content regularly, you're helping them to make money. And the worst part about hustle culture is that it's permeated almost every single industry. Finance, manual labor, e-commerce, media, and many more. So hypothetically, if you want to succeed and you're looking into an industry that you're interested in, it's tough to avoid the pitfalls of falling for their empty promises.
There was some money.
And this is by far the most toxic symptom of hustle culture. It's taking a good core value and stretching it to the extreme at the cost of your physical health, your mental health, your relationships, and everything else. It encourages unrealistic goals and expectations. According to Aiden Harper, who created the 4-day workweek campaign in Europe, he said that hustle culture is toxic, saying it creates the assumption that the only value we have as human beings is our productivity capability, our ability to work, rather than our humanity. I saw a Reddit thread that summed up the evolution, or I guess the de-evolution of hustle culture fairly well. Someone said, the sad thing is, hustle culture was a positive thing. It originally meant hustle so that you can work your dream job or career, be comfortable financially, not necessarily rich, be kind to yourself, treat your body right, etc. Now hustle culture has become this weird toxic mess. The original poster responded saying, we went from work hard, play hard to an endless cycle of work even harder, maybe play later, but not really. Another toxic symptom of hustle culture is the gig economy, which has utilized the hype of hustle culture and the American dream to trick people into working for less. The gig economy consists of people who are often working a regular job too, doing things on the side like DoorDash, Uber, and things along those lines. However, one of the major flaws with things like this is that these people on average are often paid much less than your average wage worker. And while it's sold as a dream of working on your own time, usually in the long run you're better off actually starting your own thing rather than working for one of these companies. I won't go too in depth on this, and honestly I think the gig economy could be an entire video in and of itself, but it's very clear that companies and rich people are taking advantage of hustle culture. Like the New York Times said, hustle culture's virtues of relentless work remind me of nothing so much as Soviet-era propaganda, which promoted impossible seeming feats of worker productivity to motivate the labor force. Today's messages glorify personal profit, even if bosses and investors, not workers, are the ones capturing most of the gains. But it's not all bad. I think people at the very least are waking up to and turning against hustle culture. Gen Z in particular, or the younger generations in general, are so against hustle culture for a few reasons. First of all, after being inundated with these hustle influencers for so long and seeing the funnel always lead you to a $50 course, I think people realize that truly wealthy people don't need to make content about it or sell you a course. Why would they give away free game if they were so successful? In most cases, we realized that these people weren't genuinely concerned for us doing well, but instead wanted to profit from us. Well, I mean, not everyone realizes this. Some people are still pretty desperate or gullible, but with how big people like Gary Vee, Ty Lopez, and others got, and how big of memes they became, it became more and more apparent that this was all some motivational mumbo-jumbo that they would use to get us pumped up enough to give them more of our time, attention, and ultimately our money. That's why people like Gary Vee are memed so hard online.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day. You know, garage snails, everybody's too fucking slow these days. God damn it. You know, I'm gonna go up there and I'm gonna rip his fucking face off. Not physically, but financially, okay? I'm about gratitude, longitude, and latitude. How's it going, Gary? Brought the video guy this time. It's an NBA Finals. I'm about to rip his fucking face off. And we're letting that go for 500. I'll do 4. Again, I appreciate the offer for 400, but we just can't. No, $4. Oh, $4. Are you out of your fucking mind? I might be. Oh, you are out of your mind. That's a knife. Okay, cool. But you know what I'm not out of? A good bargain.
I mean, the top comment on this video is, what's funny is the fact that this isn't even an exaggeration on how Gary is like. But not only are people for the most part aware of these hustle influencers, they're becoming more and more against the culture itself. People are starting to prioritize their personal lives over their careers. And according to a study, 20% of people would take pay cuts if they could have a better work-life balance. Along with Gen Z entering the workforce, the COVID-19 pandemic forced nearly the entire world to stop what they were doing. It gave people the space to consider what they wanted out of work and life. Megan Carnegie of BBC News says that economic uncertainty and greater awareness of inequality can make both the ideas and language of the rise and grind mentality feel outdated and out of touch. In fact, every single article I've read about the hustle culture's decline always points to the pandemic. Overnight, millions of workers, many of them loyal employees who had done everything right, were laid off via impersonal Zoom calls, or even emails, left to navigate an economy that suddenly had no use for them. People, whether it be corporate hustlers or entrepreneurial hustlers, are waking up to the bigger problem that Megan mentioned: economic uncertainty and greater awareness of inequality.
Instead of calling for regulations, workers' rights, or less work hours, the opposite path is to adapt and rationalize. Why complain about systems supposedly out of your control when you can work 80-hour weeks and build yourself up to be Jeff Bezos? Those union workers are so entitled, they're lucky to even have jobs. You don't have to be a communist to call out the end game of capitalism. However, in the United States, you will be ostracized and labeled as such. Hard work pays off is a popular quote used amongst Americans, and is further perpetuated by the people who have made it. Just as rich celebrities thank God for their blessings, the high rankers of capitalism thank the system for allowing them to obtain a mass amount of assets and power. When working class people take these billionaires at face value, we decide to fight and toil to be among the 1%, rather than realizing that we hold all of the economic leverage.
Regardless of your politics, it is an objective fact that wealth inequality and a poor economy are making the American dream seem more and more out of reach than ever before. According to the Federal Reserve, the top 1% of households owned 31.7% of all of U.S. wealth in the third quarter of 2025, the highest share on record since the Federal Reserve began tracking household wealth in 1989. Collectively, the wealthiest 1% held about $55 trillion in assets, roughly equal to the wealth held by the bottom 90% of Americans combined. It's harder than ever before to reach that level with the top 1% hoarding so much money. And I think the overwhelming amount of despair and hopelessness that things like this are causing has made people super turned off by hustle culture.
I would say that if I had to put a fine point on it, I think that the default position for most young people in America is distracted hopelessness. It's because even the people in our age range, let's say from 15 to 30, even the people who didn't pay much attention in high school or aren't paying much attention in high school, they don't need to be super educated to see the reality that is in front of them and that awaits them.
So does this mean everyone should just be hopeless and give up? Well, I don't think so. And keep in mind, I'm trying to be optimistic here, so take this all with a grain of salt. But I do think there are some positive takeaways from hustle culture. For example, I think working hard, so long as you are doing things with balance, moderation, and wisdom, is good. I've been very passionate about YouTube since I was a kid, so while I was working almost full-time and going to college full-time, I decided to commit at least just a couple hours a day after work to studying YouTube and making videos. Every day I got smarter, better, and worked hard until eventually it worked out. It took years, but I got there. And don't get me
I got
wrong,
there too.
I'm not a very hard worker, I'm pretty lazy, but I am a firm believer in working smarter, not harder, which is the antithesis of hustle culture, but I will stand on that.
Hey, it's actual cool stuff in the background and not girl repellent. Nice. Hi, kitty, you're on my chest and I don't really want that. I want you on my lap. Oh, you're such a little spaz. You're such my spastic little kitty.
I think this mindset can apply to anything, whether it be your fitness, your financial goals, your dream jobs, or just a hobby of yours. Find what you're passionate about or something you enjoy enough to do for work and set small attainable goals. By the way, this is going to be every course ever, just summed up in a very simple way. But once you have your goals, build systems to achieve those goals and incrementally get better over time. Don't set some giant goal that you have no chance of achieving. Instead, do something like this. The problem with hustle culture is it forgets what life is all about, because it isn't about just money and success, at least in my opinion. Money and success are tools that allow you to live and spend time on what's important, like relationships or hobbies. So while working hard is good, it's important to remember to do things in moderation and not sacrifice things that are ultimately more important. And if you want to learn more about how to do this, check the link in the description and buy my course. That was a joke. If you like this video, you might like my video about a similar era that kind of coincides with hustle culture, and that is the rise and fall of NFTs. So if you want to learn more about that and how so many people fell for it, consider clicking the video that's on screen right now.
Do you ever feel like society
You've seen this pattern playing out over the past few months, right? Typically a woman shares something demeaning, dismissive, or bad that her husband or boyfriend has done on social media.
That he thinks we're spending too much on groceries. I am 35 weeks pregnant. I'm still working. I'm still cooking for our family of 4 every night.
He has never called me beautiful or gorgeous or any of the such. He hasn't. Do you know what he says? You look great. Like that food was...
You are beautiful. It's bullshit. Where'd you get the money for the eyelash implants?
Great.
Is it that douchebag? Keep him.
I had a great day.
And people were quick to reply like, you deserve better, he shouldn't be doing this to you, all the way to leave him immediate reply.
Want me to kill them?
Yeah. Food was great.
Look, he's in the background ignoring you. That's probably what happens all the time, huh?
Day. And people were quick to reply like, you deserve better, he shouldn't be doing this to you, all the way to leave him immediate divorce. And then she'll probably post saying, it's just a joke, it's not that deep, it's totally fine, he's a really nice guy. Perhaps even including this in the original post itself.
It's not him being careless or entitled, it's about how deeply gendered this is across cultures, you know? Like, women are conditioned to shrink.
He's not an asshole, by the way. He's great in lots of ways, but on Mother's Day, I'm always disappointed.
And people are quickly replying, oh my god, you are embarrassing yourself. Centering men is embarrassing. Do you not have any self-respect? I'm so sick of women defending men. You're actually the problem here. It's the infamous butter dish fiasco where she...
Day 5 of silence in this household because I bought my fiancé an Xbox for Christmas and this is what he got me.
I bought him an Xbox and he bought her a butter dish, and then they didn't talk for 5 days. You 100% deserve what you tolerate, was one of the comments before the comments got turned off on that post.
It's like, you need tools for the kitchen. It's sexist, kind of. Okay, I'm sorry guys, I've got to go to the bathroom, unfortunately, but hey, we're arriving at this station here. That'll be entertaining. What's that sound? Long, tall care. I'm trying to go back to...
Docking request accepted.
Level 7.
Autopilot disabled.
Oops.
Waypoint reached.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. Hi, kitty. How you living? You doing all right? You're a lovely kitty. That's a good kitty. The beer. I should never have beer ever again.
Your skill has increased. Your skill has increased.
Don't disconnect me. What happened here? You're fucking... Are you serious? You can't surf to this website? You're fucking stupid. You can't surf to that website? You're fucking so fucking bad at what you do. Wow. Wings is gone, huh? Hey, look, it's Rust Labs. I remember I used to use this all the time when I was first playing the game. I bought a new pack recently, and it came with something cool. Oh yeah, it's those. I bought the jungle pack for Rust so I can put shelves on a wall. Not that I need to, but costplusliquors.com. Go. You can't do it? Okay, well then go to this. Cost Plus Liquors. Cost Plus Liquors, the best online liquor store. Home. Spirits. I'm looking for... Hi there. Nice to you. We have a 10% promo code. Would you like to subscribe and get the coupon now? Yes, sure. What's your email address then? Okay, cool. I got a discount to Cost Plus. Nice. Okay. So I got a 10% discount on liquor, which is like you're speaking my language. Sort by best selling, shop by spirits. I'm looking for probably vodka, yeah. Save $7, save $21, 22 for McCormick's. That's a liter. 1.75. Yeah, that's a handle for $22.99, which is not that bad. I used to drink a lot of McCormick's. But I want 1.75. Okay, put these away. Put this away. Why did you dox me? You're stupid. Whatever. I mean, everybody knows my email address. It's fine. Absolute vodka, Kettle One. I want to sort by price low to high. What's the... Ooh, look, they sell platinum in the 3.75 ml. Yeah, do you have other Platinum X? Other sizes of Platinum X? You do. The 1.75 is $32. That's insane. I can get it down at my store for like 22. 10X vodka, 750 ml, 1.75 for $33.99. That's a 10X, huh? Platinum 1.575 Ls. 4 of these would be like $120. It would do for the weekends. It would be like, you know, I don't know. Yeah, it would be okay for the weekends. Like $100. Yeah. How to buy liquor cheap. Let's go on YouTube and see. Ooh, Josh talking about
Right. Well,
PvP. Cool. But I want to come to this. I want you to show me YouTube. Please make this go away. How to buy liquor cheap. How to buy liquor cheaper. Yep. Start a liquor store with no money. Wait, what? Okay.
Alcohol, but not before trying some. Did you know that it's possible to make distilled spirits in your freezer? That's a fact. You can do this. Are you aware that it's also potentially illegal, which, if true, is the dumbest law in America? To find out for sure, I called an actual lawyer that specializes in alcohol, but not before trying some freeze distilling myself. I actually know quite a bit about distilling. I own a distillation equipment supply company, which I've been running for a very long time. So freeze distillation is the process of freezing low-proof alcohol and then removing the ice, which increases its strength. It's called applejacking because not all that long ago, freeze distillation was commonly used to increase the strength of hard apple cider. In the fall, apples would be picked, and at some point they'd be crushed and juiced and fermented. Then the cider would be stored in barrels over the winter, and when it got cold enough, the barrels would be opened and the ciders and the liquid would be separated. So is applejacking dangerous? No. Absolutely not. But if you drank the same amount of, let's say, freeze distilled brandy as you drink traditionally distilled brandy, and you drank enough to get a hangover, you would have a worse hangover if you drank the freeze distilled brandy than you would if you drank the traditionally distilled. This is because traditional distilling removes impurities that freeze distilling will not. Freeze distilled brandy, for example, is no more dangerous than the original hard cider that you made it from. So why does applejacking work, and what's the actual process for doing it? It's actually pretty simple. Water freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Pure ethanol freezes at negative 173 degrees Fahrenheit. That's almost the temperature of liquid nitrogen, and there's a huge difference between those temperatures. So if you chill hard cider, for example, down cold enough to freeze the water, but it's not cold enough to freeze the alcohol, and then you remove the ice and you leave the ethanol behind, you have increased the relative strength of the alcohol. Or rather, you've increased the relative proportion of the alcohol, making it stronger. And this can be done with any alcohol, not just hard cider. This is actually how ice beer is made. The American brand Ice House, for example, is made slightly stronger with freeze distillation. I think that beer is like 5.5% ABV, but you can make beverages a lot stronger. We're talking like 20 to 30% ABV just by freeze distilling it. Basically, the colder you can get it, the stronger you can make it. So exactly how is this done? Well, you have two options. Number one, you can take the easy route, which I did. You can go to the grocery store and you can buy yourself some cheap wine. Put this in a container that will fit in your freezer. I'm using one of these Clawhammer 1.25 gallon fermenters. And the first thing I'm going to try is actually just setting this outside overnight because it's supposed to be only 16 degrees tonight. It's winter where I am right now. I will just wait into the next day. And okay, what happened? It did not freeze. Either it just was warmer than expected, or it just wasn't cold enough for long enough. It will work, but it takes a little bit of time. And like I said, it has to be pretty cold.
It's wine. It won't. Wine will freeze. Yeah.
So if this is the case for you as well, it's not cold enough to do this outside. You're going to either need to use your house freezer or use a chest freezer. I actually bought this here freezer from a crackhead on Facebook Marketplace who had moved on to making meth or something like that and no longer needed it. So I just toss this in my living room because I'm classy like that, and then I set it to its coldest setting. I added the container of wine. I waited for 24 hours, and this is what it looked like the next day. This freezer must be really cold because it's almost frozen solid. The next step is going to be cracking the nozzle on the bottom of the fermenter and letting the liquid drain out slowly, which looks like this. At this point, the wine is definitely a lot stronger than it was, but it can potentially be made...
Really? Oh.
Even stronger if this process is repeated. Now you can also take the more difficult route and do it the way the good old-fashioned applejackers of years past did it. So this will involve buying yourself some apples, breaking them down with a fruit crusher, then pressing them in some sort of a press. I'm using an old-timey screw press here, which is pretty cool. You will want to pasteurize the liquid somehow. I prefer to use heat pasteurization versus chemical pasteurization, which makes a lot of people unreasonably mad. Most people prefer chemical pasteurization, but I've tried both, and all of the heat pasteurized cider I've ever made has been better, but that's just my preference. I used one of my Clawhammer brewing kettles to heat pasteurize, and then the same deal as before, I'm adding this to a 1.25 gallon fermenter. I'm actually pouring it out of a tap. This
guy's like drunk all the time, and I feel guilty when I drink every 4 or 5 days or whatever it is. This guy's drunk all the time, like every day. And I want his life. He just didn't have shame from his parents or the people around him. I get shamed all the time for my drugs and my fucking alcohol. And I'm fucking sick of it. Like, I can't wait till that element of my life is fucking gone with the death of the baby boomers. I don't want their fucking judgment anymore. I'm like fucking this guy. Deep down inside, I'm like this guy. I would even do all this. It doesn't scare me.
Was on tap as hard cider here in my office, but I had a leak in my CO2 system when I was out of town and everything went flat. So I thought, you know what, instead of recarbonating this, why don't I just try some freeze distilling? I put it in the freezer, I let it set for 24 hours, and then I pulled it out. This is what it looked like. I'm going to do the same thing I did with the wine. I will just crack the nozzle on the bottom.
Wait, I have an extra thingy.
Bottom of the fermenter, and I'll leave it trickle out for as long as it takes. I'm actually really excited to try these. I've never made.
There are letters between Thomas Jefferson and George Washington where the two discuss the headaches they got from drinking too much Applejack. Really entertaining to read.
Approaching Stargate. Autopilot jumping. Warping to Stargate. Warp drive active. Approaching Stargate. Autopilot jumping.
Ethanol. Why wasn't there YouTube when I was a teenage alcoholic? Imagine the glorious hangovers I could have had.
Warp drive active.
Wait, so you don't have to wait for weeks and weeks and weeks. You can freeze sugar water. You can ferment pure cane sugar. You can get it up to around 35% ABV in a home freezer after a few cycles, and then flavor it however you want. Yeah, I don't need to flavor it. I'll just mix it. It's vodka or whatever.
Autopilot jumping.
Means no fruit or grain. Just ferment pure cane sugar.
Warping to Stargate. Warp drive active. Approaching Stargate. Autopilot jumping.
I found this exact thing out with a Steely in my friend's chest cooler as a teenage alcoholic. Wow.
Warping to Stargate. Warp drive active.
I feel it's unconstitutional to control what happens to my house if I'm not selling anything, and I tend to agree.
Approaching Stargate.
The hangover you get from Applejack is so bad it got its own name, Apple Palsy.
Autopilot jumping. Warping to Stargate. Warp drive active.
So you want a hangover-free Applejack, heat it up to 148 for a few minutes, not getting close to 170, and you will retain your alcohol, remove the methanol.
Approaching Stargate. Autopilot jumping. Warping to Stargate.
There's good
Warp
info
drive
here.
active. Approaching Stargate. Autopilot jumping. Warping to Stargate. Warp drive active. Approaching Stargate. Autopilot jumping.
Nothing is illegal, getting caught is.
Warping to
I
Stargate.
love that.
Warp drive active.
Nothing is legal, getting caught is a really good fucking phrase I'm gonna put in my quotes. Nothing is illegal, getting caught is. There's 3 kinds of laws. Those
The
you can't
Applejack's
afford to
cheap.
break, those you're afraid to break, those you can't figure out how to break.
Autopilot jumping.
In the UK, it's legal to make and sell this. I do it at my brewery with Imperial Stout by placing beer in a corny keg, then freezing the keg. 10% beer gets to around 17%. Wow. What are we doing here, kitty? What, you want me to play with you? Is that what you want? You bored, kitty?
Approaching Stargate. Autopilot jumping. Warping to Stargate. Warp drive active. Approaching Stargate. Autopilot jumping.
I don't believe him.
Warping to Stargate. Warp drive active.
It was an ice block and it won. There's a crazy thought to put 2 gallons out in the garage at 10C. The result was fantastic.
Approaching
18%.
Stargate. Autopilot jumping. Warping to Stargate. Warp drive active.
It actually tastes really good. She just used first press apple cider. What is first press apple cider with a pinch of yeast? Apple cider? Like apple cider, just not even like, not like, you know.
Approaching Stargate. Autopilot jumping. Warping to Stargate. Warp drive active. Approaching Stargate. Autopilot jumping. Warping to Stargate. Warp drive active. Approaching Stargate. Autopilot jumping.
There's a lot to. Oh, I disconnected. God damn it. I hate your stupid fucking GeForce Now thing. It's so annoying. Anyways, I learned some stuff.
Your skill has increased.
we've pulled everything, so good luck, everyone. I'm focusing this guy down. Well, I think we've wiped because we have just grabbed way too many people here. You stay there. You die. You are close enough to death.
You need
It's
to
just
vanish,
me. Good
my
luck,
friend.
everyone.
Vanish.
Let's open the old book and sprint away. Well, we didn't do that. That's fine.
Jesus Christ, you're fucking bad.
One fled into the rest. Sorry, guys, my bad. I'm going to take it slow. This room...
You are bad, yeah.
...needs you to go slow. That's fine. We release, we do it again. But you're doing okay. But it's a learning process. You can hide in combat and survive. The DPS didn't kill the running mob. Yeah, that was my fault. Couldn't catch up to it. I can't hide in combat yet because I don't have Vanish. I'm level 21. I believe I get Vanish at level 22.
Oh, never mind. They're in... yeah, never mind. They're in Dead Mines. He's not bad, no.
Subtlety.
Never mind.
Yeah, I don't have Vanish yet. You wouldn't have
thought he
wiped
was
if you
in,
didn't use questing. That's true, because I wouldn't be here. You keep starting new characters. Is that because you hate the others and never want to think about them? Yeah. Why did you pick the PvE server? Because I enjoy PvE. I would enjoy rather having a chilled out gaming session with friends and the guild where we attempt to take on the dungeons and we attempt to take on all the challenges that the game designers have put in there for us without having to worry about the hassle of PvP. What a casual, says Ken. Yeah, that's the point. I mean, don't worry. A lot of people do ask why I've picked PvE with this kind of air of you should have picked PvP. It's the superior way to play the game. I like having to just enjoy and experience the game without needing to worry about other people trying to harass my playtime. Now, people have this kind of attitude of why aren't you playing PvP and why aren't you playing hardcore? And they approach it as if you aren't doing that, you are not worthy of playing the game, which personally I think sucks. It's very silly. It is. If you were on a PvP server, yeah, people would they'd be constantly attacking me. Oh yeah, the exact people that are saying you should play on a PvP server are the people who, if I was playing on a PvP server, would be hunting me down and trying to kill me. No doubt. No doubt in my mind at all. Are there games where you find choices hinder your ability to play, like you get so caught up in what to choose, you don't? I think I struggled with that when I first started playing Path of Exile, and the best thing about Path of Exile was that you know that even if you make the wrong choice, you're going to make it again in a couple of weeks' time, so that's fine. Been a viewer on YouTube for a few years, have a question. Played MMOs for a good portion of the time you've been alive. The ones you spend the most in are the middle-class MMOs, which makes me think, is the problem with MMO developers and communities that we have high expectations. You have to ask yourself, what do you want to spend your time doing? It's not that we have high expectations, it's people think that a solution will be achieved if we just change one or two things. If we just make an MMORPG with amazing graphics, people will play it. If we just make the best combat system, people will play it. If we just do this, people will play it. An MMO is a community. You make a community of players, and then people will come and join in. You make a game that gives the community what they want. You also have to say, what is a new MMORPG doing that other games aren't? With single-player games, you're telling a story that hasn't been told before. You're exploring mechanics that haven't been told before. You are giving the player a new game kind of thing that hasn't been done before. There's lots of different things that you can do. With an MMORPG, we're often just giving people the same things repeatedly again and again and again and again and again. So what is there that is new? PvP works if it's what you want out of the game. Yeah, I'm not saying if you like PvP, you're wrong with that. If you like PvP, you are right for liking PvP. I love PvP, but not in MMORPGs. And the reason for this is that MMORPGs are designed around gaining an unfair amount of power and engaging in battles that have an advantage on one side or the other. They are designed to be unfair. That's the...
Yeah, I don't like PvP anymore. I see all the time that it's not fair like chess. Chess is completely fair. You can... I mean, if you know the game, you can win it if you know the game. Maybe the person might be better than you, but I mean, you and them have the same exact chance when the game starts. I don't think I've ever had a PvP engagement that felt that it was exactly equal like that. Maybe Hearthstone feels like that.
Point. You are not using exactly the same items and equipment as your opponents, and that's by design. I like it so when PvP happens, there is either a kind of equal, an opposite, or even if not an exact equal and opposite, There is at least a balanced equal and opposite. Like, I like Command and Conquer, but I like the fact that GDI and NOD have differences within their design, but they are designed to appeal to the other person's weaknesses and strengths. I think
it's funny. I don't think he was a gamer the last 20 years, because the games that he references are all from like 2001, right before he would have been in college.
PvP works in a game.
A lot of these kids will have no idea what he's talking about. They'll be like, what do you mean Command and Conquer?
Where the balance is
that some kind of board game?
Designed to encourage fair fights. Asymmetrical balance is fine. Balance is fine. The thing with MMORPG PvP is you are literally trying to get better weapons than your opponent, so when you engage in PvP, you have an advantage. And if the purpose of your combat system is to be manipulated in your favor, so the numbers are giving you an advantage before your skill even comes into it, I don't think that's fun. I don't want to beat someone because my numbers are higher than theirs. I want to beat someone because I used the correct skills and made the correct choices against them. I think the reason, and I'm going to sound horrible with this, but I think the reason so many people like engaging in world PvP in MMORPGs that allow you to make the system imbalanced in your favor is because they just want to bully someone. It's a power fantasy. That's what it is. It would be like playing a Call of Duty game where as soon as the game starts, one team have all of the best.
Yeah, like when I swear to God, like PvP is so toxic lately, because it's like if it's fair, that's one of the things I like about Fortnite. I feel like Fortnite's fairly fair. If the guy sees you and you're like, you know, you're on a side of a hill, and you both get down to your knees and spray at each other, it's like a 50-50 as to who could win there. Maybe you peg a headshot, you do better, but it's like 50-50. It seems pretty fair.
Best weapons and the other team don't. I don't like that. To me, that isn't a fun experience either way. I wouldn't enjoy being on either side of that balance. And you know, some people want that. Some people want to say, right, our team is fighting their team, and our team is better geared, bigger, more powerful. We're going to win. It's going to be a one-way war in our favor. All right, if that's what you want, cool. Personally, I don't particularly enjoy engaging in that. If you want to engage in that kind of competition, go for it. But I think games that build themselves entirely around that struggle to keep players, because they don't fully understand that when half your player base is just constantly being killed, they're going to leave. Isn't that the historical reality of humans, though? Yeah, of course it is rated M for manly, which is why I don't want to bring it into my fun gaming time. I think one of the worst things to happen to gaming was that it became ultra competitive. I dislike the fact that gaming became competitive and then it became super hardcore.
That's my problem with Rust. It's like every time you meet somebody now, they all do the stupid shuck and jive move. I don't even bother doing that stupid shit. And I'll probably die more, but honestly, I don't want to look like some idiot who's like all over the place trying to dodge bullets. You're not fucking Neo. Why are you trying to dodge bullets? But they're like that. The Rust players are like that. They're like, they dance all around like they're playing laser tags and shit because they're young and they're thirsty and they're like hyperactive and shit. And like when the games became like all the games are like that, where like everybody is ultra competitive, and I like that. But I mean, I don't know, it used to be a lot more fun when you just felt like everybody was learning, you know. Now it's like, what's the meta? What do you spend your time doing? Do you farm? Do you craft? It's like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. What happened to just learning the fucking game? I don't know. New World was the most fun I've had in a long time because I did have to learn the game. I learned every inch of it. I know every zone. Yeah.
By playing in a more difficult, more time-consuming, more skill-intense way than somebody else. And if you didn't do that, you were a less worthy gamer. I hate that. I think it's taking a fun hobby and turning it into some kind of gatekeepy test. Wasn't the first game competitive? Pong. It was called Tennis for Two, and it was done on the screen. But the thing about Tennis for Two was the first game, it was entirely balanced. Yeah, if you didn't finish Dark Souls this way, you didn't really finish Dark Souls. That's silly. Yeah, gaming has turned into a rite of passage to be able to prove yourself because we don't have those kind of trials outside of various cultures. Thoughts on OSRS PvP? Not a massive fan of it. Like I said, I'm not a fan of any PvP that effectively thrives on the imbalances created before the contact happens. That's what it is. What gets to me is There are certain games where you put in time and effort and energy and sometimes money before the fight happens in order to give yourself an advantage in the fight. I don't like that. I like sitting down and knowing that when the fight starts, me and my opponent have roughly the same resources.
Like, I like Moira because she feels like she can brawl with anybody. She can get out if it's a DPS pushing. She can die if it's a ranger like Hanzo or Widow or whatever. She can't really do anything there, but she can throw an orb at that person and kind of area deny where they are. And so she can kind of fence with most people. She can throw a ball at the sniper. She can brawl with the tank and roll out as he charges or swings or does something to her. She can brawl with most people in the game, and that's why I picked her. She can, like, absolutely go head-to-head with pretty much anybody in the fucking game, and I do. I go head-to-head with, like, pretty much everybody. And I realized that as a healer, that made me much more valuable. I move up in levels more than most people do because it makes me much more valuable. I don't get more kills. I just get the kills when they matter, you know? Many a time I won a game with Moira because I was willing to kill the Pharaoh when nobody the fuck else will. You know, it's been so fucking long since I've seen a Pharaoh. Pharaohs are gone. Like, I've not seen a Pharaoh. I've seen like one Pharaoh this year. Pharaohs just don't exist anymore. They were so common before. They were like the most common DPS, but no, Pharaoh was a problem too. You had to learn how to actually deal with her. It's like a fucking rocket launching thing that's way up in the sky that totally defies melee. And like, god damn it, Pharaoh was fucking annoying. And like for years, Pharaoh was like the norm for every single fucking match. But now you don't ever see a Pharaoh anymore, ever. And I don't know why that is. She must have been nerfed into the fucking ground or something.
Your skill has increased.
Because you would think, well, she did. I feel like the jetpack is about the same as it always was, which is dumb. She doesn't actually have a jetpack. She's got like a long jump, basically. Those jetpacks that these piece of shit large sized fucking companies do, they're just not so good, you know? Die, rabbit. I suppose I should get heal skill up here. Oh, I better make a cure macro. Cure 1. No, that's not what I'm asking you to do. It's just not. I'm asking you to... For fuck's sake. This area is beautiful
Your skill has
the sun is setting. Dude, you shut the autopilot off.
Warp drive active.
To me, I prefer that. He just doesn't like PvP, lol. Teddy Picker, listen to my words. I understand that this might be quite difficult for you, but just listen. I like competitive gaming. I like playing games with a human as my opponent. But in order to do that,
I like
the
PvP.
framework around that competition has to ensure that me and that other person both have an element of fairness within the competition that we're taking
or it's
part in.
worthless
Does
engagement.
that make sense?
Yep.
I love competitive Magic the Gathering.
This is why I never gave the stream sniper the time of fucking day, and they beg me to. They beg me, and they're so desperate. Desperate's not a good look either. And it's just like, and I begin to understand it's because he always takes an unfair advantage in everything that he does. Some might call that winning. I call it being unfair and not being very cool, you know? It's just, to me, it's like, you made sure that you always had an advantage every time I ever saw you, so I can just blame that instead of you. I could be like, it's the stream snipe. And it completely invalidates these people. It is weird. And they think, like, they're winning something when they just basically take their advantage. That makes it, oh, well, you have an advantage, so of course you won, you know? And it's always like that. And I don't know, I just couldn't do that to myself. I would never, you know, take some unfair advantage. It just doesn't lead to a skillful life.
Your skill has increased.
I was gonna buy a Noctis,
Your
but I spent
skill
some
has
money today. Jesus Christ. Okay, gonna get in this healer. I do have to address the whole... I'll just buy a Cormorant and 8 Salvager 2s and some expanded cargo holds or whatever, I guess.
But if I'm going to sit down and you're going to play your legacy or vintage deck against my jumpstart booster packs, you're going to win. Because that has not been designed to be fair for both of us, to be within a balance. It's why there's weight classes in boxing. I love competition. I am a very competitive person, which is why it's important to me that the nature of competition remains balanced. What's my stance on PvP and MMORPGs?
It needs to be balanced. It's not. It's unbalanced. It's unfair. So fuck it. It's not a real evaluation of skill. I don't really think Fortnite wins matter. I don't really think living out the rust wipe matters. I don't think that being top 500 in Overwatch matters. Maybe it leads to a career and money, so that might matter. But I don't think, like, you know, but I don't think doing it matters. And that's the weird thing. It's like competitiveness. Everybody treats each other like toxic garbage because, like, this shit matters. And it doesn't. This shit does not matter. It never has.
Nature. If an MMORPG is about gathering power and holding on to it, and PvP is about being fair, these two things are often in disharmony. I like the idea of PvP games. I love the idea of keeping, you know, player versus player within stuff. However, player versus player is often at its most fun when the two players are of an equal either skill level or power level, because then skill comes into it. If an MMORPG is focused on allowing you to gather power and then engage in a player versus player fight with someone who is of lower power than you, deliberately because you want to use the gained power to put yourself in a position of power over them, then that inherently is unfair. The idea of engaging in that is you are trying to make it unfair before you even start. And that doesn't particularly stand out to me. Now, I like PvP within games like Final Fantasy XIV or Guild Wars 2 or even endgame PvP at
PvP in
World of Warcraft.
14?
You know, that's fine. That's totally fine. But that's because it's about encountering someone on an equal playing field. The reason that I dislike PvP in games like, for example, Mortal
Your skill
Online
has increased.
is because they are designed to be unfair. They are designed that you can gather power that somebody else doesn't have and then use that to win the fight. And if PvP players like that, totally fine. That's up to them, you know? That's just how they want to do it.
Your skill has increased.
Personally, I like it when any kind of PvP competition is done with a level of equality and fairness. That's why MOBA games have effectively, in many ways, replaced the PvP
Your
that
skill
people
has
used to
increased.
do in MMORPGs, because the start of the MOBA game resets everyone to a relatively neutral standing. And that seems to be really popular with what people want. Now, I'm not a big MOBA fan, but I can totally understand the balance within it. People like the fact that MOBAs do start every game balanced. And you can argue about the unbalancing of the classes and the difference in skills between players, but the balance of the classes gets addressed and the skill between players, that's what matters. I don't know enough about extraction shooters to really talk on them, to be honest. But I think what often happens with MMORPGs is you end up in the
Your
situation
skill has
of people
increased.
going, oh, you know, you're going to step out the starting area and straight away we're going to have all of these, you know, super high levels gank this super low level. That's PvP. You should just enjoy that. No, that's not enjoyable. or fun for anyone kind of doing this. I think PvP, and again, I'm not a big PvP guy. I think from the PvP players that I've met, a lot of them like the fact that they can make an encounter inherently unfair. PvP players that I've engaged with often don't engage within the PvP unless they are within an unfair advantage. And again, part of me gets it, because, as horrible as it sounds, it's fun to be the person in the powerful position. It's fun to be the person who is able to have all the power and all the mates with you and, you know, win.
To me, long-term growth is what's fun to me now. It's not this like brief satisfaction after a PvP kill for their loot or whatever. It's not really what I'm into anymore.
In those unfair situations. That's fine. Yeah,
it was fun there for a couple of years in Rust, because I hadn't played video games in 7 years, and then I just jumped into 76 in Rust, like, totally out of nowhere. And it was fun there for a couple of years while I, like, really did dedicate to one single game and only played one game and really tried to play it better. And, you know, I didn't get much better, but I did... well, I got better, but I did, to the point where I started winning Fortnite and stuff. I never would have dreamed of winning Fortnite when I first started playing it. I would have been like, no, I just don't have the skill. But now, I used to dream of being that good where I could catch like 30 kills and just 2 deaths. I used to dream of that. But now I do it in Overwatch like every time I play. And like now I can catch a Fortnite win fairly consistently if I try. Maybe won a session if I'm lucky, maybe second place something. And I'm fairly consistent now, and those are things that I never used to have. And this is because I dedicated to Rust for like 3 years and I got better. One could say I should stay on Rust, but the problem is it's not content fit for, I mean, the game's okay for an audience, but the toxicity of the PvP is not good. The personality that it brings out of me is not good for the channel. I don't know. But Rust will make you better. So will 76, ironically, because 76 can be hard. It can be a hard game. I've died in it a lot.
Yeah, you get twinked out and you go and kill some brand new players and you're like, haha, yeah, I've won at PvP. And then you have to sit back and be like, but what have I really done?
So yeah, what have I really done? What kind of growth did I receive from this? That's one of the reasons why I like faction warfare. It fucking pays for sitting there, you know? I believe I'm getting tired. I may go to bed soon. I don't know. I slept a lot yesterday. I slept like 5 hours or something. Eat something, go to bed. I like playing until I'm tired, I'll be honest. Stay up a little while longer. Where am I? Oh, there's more mobs here again. Well, we could just go do that, I guess. Oh, did I drop? I don't think I did. Oh, I did. I did. Good. So... I'm winning, right? Yep. Ding. Ooh, I got blind. Blind's a good spell. Blind. I guess that's all good, except for instead of that, we'll do that and that. And then we say blind. Blind is good. Hi, kitty. Oh, listen to her trill. She's so cute. I love this kitty. Well, I don't know. Should I go kill those things? No, I'll go through the Guristas thing and I'll go further, I guess, and just attack ships that are closer. Will this just pop forever? Maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't find that fun. No issue with imbalance. Problem I have is people that make their goal to make your experience miserable. Yeah, but it's the imbalance that makes it miserable. If PvP was not inherently imbalanced within several things, then you would be able to at least fight back. It's when you end up in a PvP
yeah, Rust is
situation
good like that because usually you have the same sort of weapon.
Unable to fight back from that brings the misery. But I'm not a PvP guy, so my opinion on that doesn't matter as much. I don't think that you are a skilled player for beating someone that you have an inherent advantage against. If you are giving yourself an advantage against someone and then fighting them specifically because you have an advantage against them, instead of trying to find someone that you have no advantage against and trying to beat them, or at least are on equal footing with, that I like. People assume that I don't like competitive PvP games because I don't like PvP within MMORPGs. That's not true. I love competitive PvP games, but I also like it when there is a level of balance between the person I'm fighting and me. When there is a level of, not necessarily fairness, but the word is balance. There's a reason that there are weight classes in boxing. I love real-time strategy games. I don't mind if I lose at a real-time strategy game against a friend of mine, as long as I know that we both started from a fair position. I don't mind if I lose at Tekken. I don't care if I win at Tekken. As long as we are both starting from a balanced, fair position, and we get to effectively understand that it's our choices within the moment that have helped us win or lose, great. What I dislike is knowing that when the PvP thing starts, one of us has an advantage or a disadvantage. It's like saying, hey, I'm going to play Magic the Gathering, but I'm going to play my competitive Legacy deck, and you're going to play a store-bought intro pack. Well, the Legacy deck's going to win. If it doesn't win, it's going to be because of...
You just said that.
In the 1980s, Chevy Chase could do no wrong. He launched SNL into a hit show, and through films like Caddyshack, hit the peak of American comedy.
Thank you very little.
But in September 2002, a different picture emerged of Chevy.
I am appalled at some of the things that I have heard said about this man. And I mean backstage, some really hideous, hurtful, hate-filled things you could never take back.
The roast of Chevy Chase is not like other roasts. Instead of good-natured teasing, it's just revenge for the way Chevy treated others.
You're out of control, you're in denial, no one wants you to work anymore but you. It's selfish. You're hurting yourself, the people around you.
Of the fact he's wearing sunglasses, Chevy later said, "Thank God I was. My eyes were tearing." But the roasters were harsh for a reason. Chevy verbally abused producers. Jokingly flattered a female colleague by telling her what he wanted to do with her dead body, and even slapped fans.
He was just like my comedy hero. So I went up to him and I said, "Chevy, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Rob Hubel." And he slapped me across the face, like really hard. So hard that I saw red.
Chevy treated me like dirt is a common thread in every story you're about to see. So much that in the end, the industry he helped build will abandon him entirely.
We are having so much fun, and we wanted you, as you know, or maybe you didn't know, to be in the movie, but we didn't have his new number.
Before his downfall, however, Chevy is the toast of the town. It's October 11, 1975, and Chevy is in his first episode of SNL. This is also the first episode of SNL, at the time called NBC's Saturday Night, and Chevy, who's 32, runs the fall of the week.
No problem.
He also invents the Weekend Update segment.
This afternoon, Evel Knievel successfully jumped his Harley-Davidson motorcycle over 14 Greyhound buses. Evel will attempt to jump a Greyhound bus over Fred McMurray and his entire family next week.
And in his first year, wins 2 Emmys.
And the winner is...
With such confidence that he waits on stage for his name to be read.
Chevy Chase. NBC Saturday Night.
After this, 3 of Chevy's next 4 films, Tunnel Vision, Foul Play, and Caddyshack,
I'm no slouch myself. Don't sell yourself short, Judge. You're a tremendous slouch.
earned combined 100 million against 11 million in budgets. And Chevy becomes the first SNL star to crack mainstream celebrity. New York Magazine even suggests that Chevy could replace Johnny Carson. And while Carson responds that Chevy couldn't ad-lib a fart after a baked bean dinner, public opinion is that he's the funniest man in America.
Hello.
But Chevy is developing a problem. As he says in his authorized biography, I'm Chevy Chase and you're not, which I'll use as a key source, I was coked up, drinking, living the high life from being so popular. After receiving the Emmy Award you just saw, I gave my speech, came off stage out of view of the camera, and Red Fox shoved a spoonful of cocaine up my nose. It was a common way of expressing joy or feeling it, part and parcel of the way we lived at the time. I was in control, never out of control. But given the first-hand accounts coming up, this is going to become a questionable statement.
No, if you're on cocaine, you're in control, but the drug controls you. And you're like, oh, I need more of this right now. You know?
First, I want to thank Claude for sponsoring this video. If you're anything like me, your week is a blur of information. You need to remember what was said so you can make decisions, but taking notes in meetings makes you feel less present. Add calls, notifications, and interruptions, and you find yourself working harder, not smarter, just to remember important follow-ups. Well, the Claude Note Pro is like having a tiny second brain right here with you. It captures audio within a 5-meter, 16.4-foot radius, then transcribes it into accurate text. You can add images of whiteboards or slides, and when something important happens, you can just press a button to mark that moment. The Note Pro comes with 50 hours of continuous battery use and turns your meetings into summaries with action items, and it can even draft follow-up emails for you. On the desktop app, Claude can auto-detect meetings, meaning with participants' consent, of course, you can record without bots, add-ons, or extra steps.
Yeah, Purina dog chow.
Online and in person, there's literally no need to write or type anymore. You can just be present, then have Claude give you the info you want. Need to recall Jeff's idea from last Monday? Just ask Claude and get an answer complete with references. And because privacy is critical, data is held with these enterprise-grade encryption standards. Professionals who use Claude save on average 260 hours a year. That's 6 full work weeks. So if you're serious about working smarter, not harder, get Claude Note Pro with 30-day free returns at the link in the description. And now back to Chevy Chase, who, even in his early days, is impulsive. Chevy is born a 14th generation New Yorker and spends childhood summers at his maternal family estate, Castle Hill. This is the same estate that will later be shot in The Witches of Eastwick.
That house is a landmark building.
And Chevy's heritage is something he's embarrassed about.
I was born from Cornelius Crane Chase. Oh, that's right. We have talked about this before. Well, good, then let's just drop it.
Chevy's mother named him after her adoptive father, Cornelius Vanderbilt Crane, in the hopes that he would
He was
leave
a
his fortune
Vanderbilt?
to she or Chevy, but this doesn't eventuate.
My mother's adoptive
Your
father
skill
was a
has
guy named
increased.
Cornelius Crane, who was the head of the toilet company, basically, the valves of Crane Plumbing. Right. And he disowned her in his will. She
Oh
got
yeah,
nothing.
Crane.
And that's that.
Still, Chevy will later describe
Seen it on
himself
toilets
as
all over the
class
country.
and use the inheritance he does get to buy himself a role.
Oh no, they probably relentlessly teased him about this. So your parents had a toilet empire. God damn it. That's comedy gold.
Royce, despite some
all that toilet money.
good luck.
Oh, see, I'm a bad friend. I can immediately see a comedy opening, and I would relentlessly tease them. Oh, come on. Your toilet money, though. Come on, you can buy it. You have toilet money. This is probably why he became a comedian, is he just doesn't want people making fun of him, so he just got better at making fun of them first, or whatever. You pull, but... Yep, so good. Thank you. This. The dreaded Corps Rear Admiral. Or the dreaded Rear Admiral. Fucking Simpsons. It's like a butt sex joke.
Your skill has increased.
That was the gate opening, I guess. I don't know.
However, Chevy's childhood is far from ideal. He remembers being awakened in the middle of the night and slapped continually and hard across the face.
And that's probably why he did it to other people later on.
By his mother.
Yeah, then that's probably why he slapped other people when he was older.
Also had a habit of sending the children outside to select branches of a tree with which they would be hit for their infraction.
Oh yeah, they used to threaten me with that all the time. My grandma would threaten me with this. She was like, if you don't stop misbehaving with your monkey shines, I will go outside and I will have you cut a switch. And I'm like, and I knew what that meant. A switch is a twig meant to, or not a twig, but a tree branch meant to whip your ass with. And she's like, I will go and I will cut a switch. And that would terrify the shit out of me. Like, I'm sorry, Grandma.
At 14, when Chevy pulls a knife on another kid, he's suspended from the Riverdale Country School. And this time, his mother locks him in the cellar.
You pulled a knife on somebody?
And a pitcher to
I was given a mattress. He was put in a cellar for several days. I was given a mattress and a pitcher to pee in, a desk and a small lamp.
A desk and a small lamp. There were 2 little windows 1.5 feet in height with bars on them. It takes Chevy being
with bars on them. Oh my god. I'll take the good stuff off the top. Ooh, election tag. I mean, I want to take the whole thing. I am getting tired, and if I'm getting tired, I will lose the character probably. I'm going to log her. Yeah, I believe I will stop now. I think I will dock up and come back to this when I get up. And that'll be... dock.
Warp drive active.
Expelled from school for him to finally escape his family. He's transferred to the Stockbridge School in Massachusetts, and there he excels. He becomes valedictorian, ends up at Bard College in New York, and plays piano, drums, and keyboard in a band.
He had the look. He had the look when he was young. He has that look.
Church.
The Chameleon Church. That's an odd name.
Given his passion for performing, Chevy chooses not to attend medical school. However, this makes him eligible for the Vietnam draft.
Docking permission requested.
Anyways, you've been watching Skycat Live. I'm a full-time variety gamer all day, every day. Did this pen shut off? Is that what it's doing? No, I don't know. This
Docking
thing
request
is not
accepted.
hitting. You've been watching Skycat Live. I'm sorry, it's so incompetent it can't serve to my website. I'm sorry. Skycat.live. Oh, there we go. Did you finally fix my things? Yeah. This is Chrome. I'm trying to do this because you can't seem to sort to my website. Nicholas Brennan or something died. Okay. You've been watching Skycat Live. I'm a full-time variety gamer all day, every day. Put me on in the background. Click on the cat space to donate. Come to my Twitch or my YouTube. Give me a like, sub, or a follow. Thank you so much for your time, guys. I'm going to bed. I'll be on later today, like maybe 4 or something, or earlier, depending on if somebody wakes me up. And I'll see you then. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Bye.